Anshi, I guess we are live and we are being recorded as well. Thank you, as admin.
Oh, okay. So, good evening, everyone. How are you?
Good.
Good, good,
We are
good.
fine.
Welcome, welcome. A very, very warm welcome to all the space lovers, stargazers. We are absolutely thrilled to host the grand finale of this astrophotography contest, the Lumen Astrum, right? The event hosted by the Iris Society in collaboration with AVASYA Society, the Aeronautical and Astronomical Sciences Society. We are very, very happy to have you all here. I myself, Anshi Jain, the Secretary of Iris Society. A very, very warm welcome to all of you. And we have our amazing co-host today, Khadija. Khadija, over to
Okay,
you. Let's
yeah.
start the session.
Thank you, Anshi. Hi, everyone. I'm Khadija, your co host for this celestial celebration tonight. It's an absolute honor to introduce our esteemed guest for the evening, Mr. Prabhu, who is an astronomer, astrophotographer, science communicator, and ex YouTuber, known for his mesmerizing captures of the night sky and his dedication to simplifying the wonders of the space for everyone. He's a part of Indian Amateur Astrophotographers Group, holds a diploma in astrophysics, and the fun fact is he actually met Sunita Williams. And yes, we will be asking him about that later. So now we will begin with the segment where our top 10 shortlisted participants will present their astrophotography entries. Okay, I'll be calling out each participant one by one. Please be ready to briefly introduce yourself, share the story and process behind your image, and interact with the judge. Feel free to ask questions and make most of the opportunity. Okay, so let us begin. The first participant is Mr. Argedeep Biswas. Are you
Yeah.
there?
Hi, everyone. Yeah. Am I
Yeah.
audible
Yeah,
properly?
yeah, you're audible. Please go on.
Yeah. So, hi, everyone. Myself, Orgodip. So, I am currently on foundation level on this course, and beside that, I have been doing a physical degree, means on offline in physics. So, I clicked this picture in the month of September, and this was clicked during the lockdown phase. So, one day I was just randomly stargazing at night near about 8 p.m. on the residence terrace. Then I thought of star trail photography, and for this I got the idea mainly from a means a wallpaper related to star trail. And for this I did some research and took help from a YouTube video of Nimit Nigam sir, and I got the idea that how this works and how to take this. So at that time I was more amateur in photography, and I didn't have so much experience, and I didn't have any tripod or something like that. So I put out my basic shoe and keep my phone supported by that, and I means use the technique of image stacking, and thus I clicked 60 pictures with interval of 3 seconds. And for each photograph I used ISO of 100 and shutter speed of 4 seconds. And for that I also used an app to continuously click the pictures, and that after clicking 60 pictures I stacked them in one picture and did some minor color adjustment from the gallery app, means the every photo gallery app, and hence here is the result. So I would like to get some comments from our respected judge. And one query is there that, sir, how we can do the same in videography, that is the time lapse start trail for videography. Thank you.
So, should I give a comment on each of the images, or should I reserve it at the end?
No, sir, you have to give it on each of the
Okay.
submissions.
So, all right, got it. So, thanks, Biswas. So, this is a nice image of star trails. Yeah, we can also do videography with this, like taking time lapse of the night sky. Instead of making a star trails, we can just add all the photographs in the form of a video. We can set frames per second. For example, ideally, for a video, we say 24 frames per second, which means in 1 second you're watching 24 videos, I mean 24 photographs. So that gives a smooth blend from one frame to the other frame. So if you keep, let's say, 5 frames per second, then the video might look like as if it is stuttering. So there is no smooth transition from the first second to the next second. So in order to give a smooth transition, so we prefer like about 20 frames. So in that case, you have to capture 20 individual images, and then you have to run it as a video. So with the limited amount of time that you have captured, you may not be able to do a longer video because of lack of frames per second. So you will end up with probably 3 or 4 seconds video. So in that case, you have to do a time lapse for the entire night. In some instance, it requires several nights of images to do a proper time lapse with at least 24 frames per second or a length of about 1 minute duration. So this is a very good attempt. Some of the foreground features could have been captured better. I can see the tree on the left, and there is one building which has been cropped. So you could have some foreground. It could be any landscape or any building or anything. But looking from the aesthetic point of view, so that could have added more beauty to it. And nonetheless, it's a very good attempt.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, and I got you about the tips for doing the start rail videography. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so moving on to our next participant, that is Mr. Sushil. Are you there?
Yeah, thank you.
Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. A very good evening. My name is Sushil Soni, and I'm a passionate mobile photographer who believes in art doesn't rely on the gears you used. It may help or supplement your work, but that's not everything. Your eyes are the main character of your art. That's what I believe. So, but sir, all these ideologies, philosophies were feeling really good. I until I entered the domain of astrophotography. Like seriously, sir, this is my fourth consecutive event within the AVASYA Society. But there's a second time, only second time, I felt that my smartphone isn't just enough. So after the conclusion of my anthem, sir, I was eagerly waiting any kind of photography competition because my laziness will never allow me to come out from my comfort zone and try something new, try something that is out of my comfort. So these events challenges me to overcome my fear, my laziness, and think something out of the box. So I've never ever tried the astrophotography before. So, sir, the place where I live, no, so there is a lot of light pollution. So I have to hunt down the locations for shooting something that can be seen, that can be visible. So for 4 consecutive days, I shot some pictures, and first 2 days, it passed just to understand the camera settings to achieve something that can be shown. Like the first picture which I clicked was so much graining. I don't know why, because I didn't knew that what setting is. Not perfect. That is getting so much grains in my picture. So I kept on experimenting with the settings of the pro mode of my smartphone, like changing the ISO, the shutter speed, lowering the shutter speed to 4 seconds and increasing it to 8 seconds, the shutter between 200 to 800. So all these things were going on, but still I wasn't achieving something that satisfied myself. And the first thing that was I was looking in my photograph, that first it should satisfy myself, and then rest of everything will be there. The first thing is that I will be that I am very confident about this, and everything will be rest about that. So this was the first picture, sir, which I felt that yeah, I can submit it, and this is looking nice. And when I clicked it, about 40 to 50 pictures I clicked that night. Uh, First, when I came to home, I just randomly edited it and posted on the Iris Photography Society's WhatsApp group. So I didn't notice is on the first go that I have captured the one of the major constellations, Orion, and the Jupiter right next to it. I wasn't very sure that what then these three group of stars means made me believe that yeah, I have something captured that is that makes some scientifically assurance to the people. So after trying to 4 to 5 days, this was the best picture that I have clicked, sir. And after clicking it, so I made a little post production in the Lightroom, adjusting the contrast and the exposure of it, and a little color grading too to give it more natural look. As the raw wasn't that good, that was visually appealing. That's all from my side, sir. Thank you.
Sushil, it's a good attempt. I really like the way you explained how you tried multiple times. So in astrophotography, um, there is one thing which is very, very important: patience. And you need uh, uh, you need patience, uh, starting from the beginning, setting up the tripod or setting up the camera, right until you process the image. So patience is the key to success, and you have to try until you succeed. So I haven't seen your, I mean, your previous attempts, so I cannot judge like how much you have got better till now. But eventually, you will get better images than this very soon. So let me comment about this image. So what you've captured is the famous winter constellations, winter sky. And also another thing is this image. The good thing about this image is the framing and the foreground. So although there are some distracting electrical lines far away, but the trees sort of like blocking some of the transmission lines, so which is blending with the image. And the great thing about this is the water source. Little longer exposure or little more longer integration could have shown some stars on the water reflecting the sky. So that would have been even more beautiful. But I could see some star trails. It's not related to the trailing of the stars. It could be because of the camera shake when you're trying to capture if you did not use the tripod. But if the stars were rounder, then this image would have been perfect for the equipment and for the conditions. There are some noise, but by taking more and more images and by stacking more of these images, so you could get away with the noise to some extent. Other than that, the colors of the stars and the colors of other objects like Jupiter came out very well, and there are some other noise as well. But at this point of time, I mean, you've done a good job. So best wishes for your future. Expecting you to capture much more better images than this.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, so moving on to the next participant, that is Mr. Kostab. Are you there?
Yeah, hello. Hello, I'm here.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I am Kaustubh, currently living in Uttarakhand under Bottle 7 Skies. And this picture is actually, if you include the calibration frames, this is actually like 600 to 650 images combined together. And then I did some combining, then stretching it in Cyril, stretching the histogram, and then uh, editing the colors in Photoshop to bring out all the details. And I was actually quite surprised that I even got a part of the Horsehead Nebula, I think it's called, too, in the image. And this was actually my second attempt at Orion. And I was so basically this was uh, to the west of my where I live is the city. So during the winters in Feb or March, it's actually very hard to capture Orion because of the city light pollution. But this was captured in November, and I just one day out of nowhere I noticed that, oh my god, I can see Orion in the east and it's darker there. So I just got up and I clicked 600 pictures, and when I stacked them the next day, I was amazed. And this is the best astrophotography photo picture of till now from me.
Thanks, Kaustubh. This is a good image. By looking at this, sort of getting uh, some of my earlier attempts capturing this constellation and deep sky objects back in 2013, 14. So Orion Nebula is pretty easy to capture. Perhaps it's one of the um, most captured celestial objects by humans. And next is Andromeda Galaxy. So Orion Nebula is pretty easy to capture. Even with smartphone, you can get the nebulosity. But if you want to get the flame and Horsehead Nebula, then you have to do a lot of gimmicks. You have to either go to a very dark location, probably like Bottle 2 or Bottle 3, or you have to have a tracking device to capture even more longer uh, exposure, longer integration to reveal the details. So, so first step is like taking the Orion Nebula and getting all the orange hues and the pink hues around, and then looking for the Horsehead Nebula and Flame Nebula is visible or not. So, Flame Nebula is pretty easy to spot, but the Horsehead Nebula, it's a dark nebula, so you need to have even more signal to noise ratio to get the dark uh, cloud as a silhouette. So that is very difficult. But if you can stretch a little bit, you can bring that out, but you need more data for that. So that's just my experience on a similar attempt back in those days. So coming to the image, the stars are good. I don't see any star trails, and I see that you have stacked hundreds of images. Did you use just a tripod, or did you mount it on a tracker or something?
No, sir. This was only on a tripod, 2.5 second exposures with at 50 millimeter focal length.
Okay, just on the tripod, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I see that you have used Sony 16 to 50 lens
Yes, sir. Actually, yeah,
and
that's one.
captured
That's
around
the one.
600 to 700 images, stacked it in deep sky, and edited it in
Yeah.
Photoshop. So,
Yes, sir.
for just non-tracked image, I think it's a pretty decent one, considering your earlier attempts. So, moving forward, what you can do is you can either upgrade to another lens. There's one economical and well-performing lens is called 50 1.8 f ratio that comes in all of the brands. So that's a prime lens. So this is what we used to do. So we get prime lens on a DSLR, and we can cover the entire Orion's belt and the Orion Nebula, everything in one frame. And then, as per the 500 or 600 rule, capturing the maximum exposure that it could allow without showing star trails, which is about 3 seconds or so. And we keep the ISO um, high enough to reveal the detail. At the same time, uh, just take care of the image that it shouldn't be looking very noisy. So keep the ISO about 1600 or something, and then capture a lot of frames, and then you stack. You can pretty easily capture the Horsehead Nebula and Flame Nebula without tracking device. So I've seen a lot of people have done that. Their photos are incredible. I mean, even even an image on a track device doesn't look as good as those images. So I'm sure you will reach to that level, but this image is a pretty good attempt.
Thank you, sir. I had one more question. So,
Mhm.
around the 18,000 rupees mark, we have the entry range in Newtonian telescopes, and at the same price, we have, I believe, a 55 to 210 millimeter Sony zoom lens, which is actually exactly 18,000. So, if I want to go deeper into the objects, what should I prefer? The beginner level Newtonians or the zoom lens?
When it comes to beginner astrophotography, don't get near the telescope unless you want to do afocal photography, like capturing moon and planets using a mobile phone with an adapter,
Mhm.
or just capturing some afocal photography of bright deep sky objects like Orion Nebula with short exposure. So telescopes, these telescopes that you have mentioned, these are primarily observation telescopes, and they are not very good. They are not of very good quality in terms of astrophotography. So when it comes to beginner astrophotography, the first thing is just doing mobile photography, exploiting the device, and then moving on to a DSLR camera and camera lens. And like I said, camera lens focal length has its limits. 50 is the maximum that you can use without using a tracking device. Although some of the people have done pretty good astrophotography using a longer focal length, like the kit lens that you mentioned, 55 to 250 Even I
Yeah.
myself have captured some of these close-up images of Orion Nebula and Deep and Andromeda Galaxy, but the exposure was very very limited. It was only 1 seconds on a tripod, so I was able to only capture 1 second image of these targets, and I captured hundreds and thousands of images. Still, the output was not as good as I was expecting. So eventually, I gave up and moved on to a tracker. So for you, I would suggest just investing on a tracking device which tracks the apparent sky, so that you can do even more longer exposure with your DSLR, and you can then move on to getting a small telescope, not a very heavy telescope, like small lightweight telescope which can be mounted on the tracking device. So that would be a good approach, unless if you can afford all these expensive equipment, then you can choose anyway. But ideally speaking, if you don't want to invest much, if your budget is limited, then this is the correct approach.
Right. So I actually wanted to show one thing too. So currently I'm in the mountains under bottle four skies, and I'm just
Hmm.
waiting for the mist to clear for the past 2 days, so that I could get star tails. That's where Polaris is, and you see this bulb.
Yeah,
If I turn this
yeah,
off, and just you can see the tree, and just
yeah,
behind the tree, Milky Way rises from there at around 3 to 4 o'clock. So I've been
yeah.
waiting for the mist to clear, and yeah, it's suspense is the suspense is real. Thank you, sir.
Great.
Thank you
Best
for the
wishes.
feedback. I
Yeah.
considered. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Costa. A great work. Okay, moving on to the next participant, Ms. Nashwa. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Please go on.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. I'm Neshwa. I'm currently pursuing BTech of Computer Science as well as BS degree in Data Science from IIT Madras. So I'm really excited about traveling, and this was one of the picture taken from Kalmar in Sweden, back when in 2024, when our cousin was there. We went on a trip there, and we waited for 2 to 3 days for capturing this event. And this one is from Sisu of Himachal Pradesh, around it's near to Spiti Valley. It was in 2023. So both of the images were captured in phone itself. One was through Samsung S21, this one, and the other one was from my sister's iPhone. We used simple editing techniques like for this one we used Snapseed to do simple edits and all, and it was shoot in long exposure model. We used timer for the night mode as well, so that there won't be much shades, and a tripod was also used.
Shwa, I really like your other image of the aurora captured from Sweden, but I prefer this because the other one doesn't have that much of signal. There is a bit of noise and over processing. Nonetheless, this one is very well processed, and it's perfect. So this is one great example of in astrophotography that location matters more than the equipment. So I've seen people using very, very primitive equipment and doing amazing astrophotography. It's mainly because of the location and the darkness of the sky. So this must be bottle 1 or 2 scale. So the sky is filled with stars, and you can see some green glow. At the same time, the foreground is beautiful with all the snow and the mountain. There is some distracting light on the left side, but it's not very evident. Uh, so overall, the image is great. I really like it. Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir. It
and
was really a dream
best
come
wishes.
true moment for that. Also, I have some doubts like how can we improve our night sky photography? Some of the techniques which we can adopt as an astrophotographer.
So, if you're talking about nightscape photography, capturing the night sky with the foreground, so there are different types like capturing the Milky Way, capturing general sky, or making star trails. So, night sky photography in general, uh, you need a dark location. First thing is dark location, and then you need some interesting foreground, natural foreground or man-made or anything which looks unique, which looks beautiful, which gives you uh, a very good view of the entire framing. And then third thing is the equipment. You need to have a decent equipment which can capture more light with less noise in a short span. So either you have a sensitive camera and a very good lens, which is DSLR camera and a lens to get even better images than this. Otherwise, you can otherwise you can use your existing smartphone just like this. I believe you captured this with Samsung S21, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is a very good. I mean, mobile phones these days they are pretty good. You can just mount it on a tripod using an adapter, and then you can capture longer exposures, not beyond like 20 seconds or 30 seconds to avoid star trails. But you can capture multiple images. So stacking is the only way to remove all the noise, all the grains in the image, so which gives you a smooth soft texture to the entire image, which makes it looks beautiful. So and this image has a little bit of noise, but to make it better you can capture more of these images and stack it in the software. There are even some mobile apps which can do the stacking, but if you want to process it very well, then you have to move to the laptop or desktop using proper software to process it very well. So to summarize, so use a stacking technique by capturing more images with your smartphone. And if you want to get even better output than the smartphone, then next thing is to move to a proper DSLR camera and a lens and a proper tripod to capture even better images.
Okay, sir. Thank you. It was so much of information. Thank you for that. And congrats to all the other participants for sharing nice, amazing works. All the best to everyone. Thank you.
Best wishes.
Thank you so much, Ms. Nasha. Moving on to our next participant, that is Mr. Naman. Are you there?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Hello, good
please go
evening,
ahead.
sir. Good evening, everybody. It's a
Good
great honor
evening.
to have you, sir. My name is Namandeep Singh, and I'm currently at diploma level of this data science degree. And I belong to a small town in Rajasthan, and I like clicking astrophotographs. I like the best. This is the best genre I have in photography, and I took this photo way back in March 2023, and I used my phone. It was a very basic phone, like 10, 12K phone, and I had to capture over 600 plus photos, and I used a timer app to click these, and the photo settings were ISO was 1600, and the shutter speed was 30 seconds, and I didn't have any tripod, so I had to lay it on a brick to get the angle right, and I had to toggle some settings to see better details. And the next day I stacked them with a software called Star Stacks, and there was no like very little pollution, and I didn't have to do much editing. This is very natural photo, like little to no editing is done here. And then I got this photo. Thank you, sir. What do you think about this photo, sir?
Thanks, Namandeep Singh. This photo came out very well among other Star Trails photo which I saw, and also your previous submission of the same object, but with a different blend mode, Comet blend mode in the Star X. That also came out very well. But this one is better than that because of the continuous star trail and the night sky. I mean, the sky is filled with bright stars, bright star trails with different colors. So I like this version of your image comparing to the other version. So star trails in general looks beautiful. Uh, Based on the darkness of the sky. So the contrast difference is very evident if you go to even a much more darker location, or if you process the image in such a way that if you darken the background, then the color of the stars and the different faint star trails comes out very well. So the thing which matters the most in star trails is the framing and the foreground. You can simply just capture the sky without showing anything, but all you're capturing is only the sky. So there is no like orientation of which is north, south, east, west, which is bottom up, because we humans, we always or like we need to know the orientation. We need to know the direction to get a sense of like what this photo is. So in space there is no direction, of course, but since landscape photography covers some of the foreground, so you could have captured some of the foreground. I mean, more foreground. I see there is a tree on the left, and also this is pointing towards northeast direction. So if you position the north celestial pole as the center of the image, that would give you a different viewpoint, and also the uh, entire framing would look different, because the star trails here arcing from the east and going up. So when you keep north celestial pole at the center, then you have arcs from top to bottom on a vertical frame. You have arcs from bottom till up. So that would look a different view. And also, I see there is a sort of a stool over there, and although it looks not so great, because the entire image looks beautiful, and there's one element which is at the bottom, which is like half. So you could have made it much better by keeping a pose, like by giving a pose of yourself on it, just capturing one single exposure and blending it with the final image. So that would have added one human element to it, and that would have made it, the ugly looking small stool, more beautiful.
Yes,
These are
sir.
the things that you could have, these are the small adjustments that you could have changed to make it more beautiful. But uh, other than that, even if you subtract all these things which I explained, but still the image looks beautiful. But you could make it much better in the next
Yes, sir.
attempt.
It was light because I accidentally slipped some morning dawn photos in that, and it is not a stool. Actually, it is a scaffolding stand. It is its length is I think it is 8 feet tall. So this is why I
Right.
couldn't.
All right, got you. But it's a nice
And
image.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And can you share about your experience with meeting Sunita Williams?
Yeah, sure. I have a small presentation of to share my journey in astrophotography. I'll share while sharing the presentation.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Naman. Now we move on to the next participant, Mr. Yashas Rao. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. I'm Yashis. I'm from Bangalore. I'm currently pursuing diploma level in this degree in electronic systems, and also I'm pursuing BTech in robotics in Bangalore. So here the bottle sky level is around 7, transitioning to 8. One day I was scrolling through social media and saw a HDR composite of professional photographer. So I was inspired very much and wanted to try it on my own. So this was my attempt. So basically I took around 350 to 360 images of both the waxing gibbous moon and also the full moon on separate nights, and I stacked them and blended them together. So, and I also took a long exposure of the moon, so to get the illumination on the bright side. And also I used some stellarium app to make sure that I get the background stars in the same composition as it was on the night of the gibbous moon, to keep relevance to the astronomical accuracy. And I used Photoshop to blend the bright side and the dark side. So my setup was a entry level bridge camera. It's a Canon bridge camera, and I took 350 images and stacked it. So I would love to hear your insights about this, sir, and thank you.
Yashas, I have a question. Did you capture this with just a DSLR lens, or do you connect it to a telescope or something?
So it's a bridge camera, and it's like a point and shoot. The lens is
Right.
attached to it. I can't remove
Got
it. So it was a
got it.
24 to 200 lens attached to it.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so HDR is like a little bit difficult to process. You have to do a lot of trial and error to get it right. Sometimes when you capture different phases, when you overlap it, when you blend it, they don't match up because when you're capturing moon in different phases, there is called moon's libation. Because of that, you have the southern and north pole slightly. You see different orientation of it, different angles of it. You see sometimes more of southern hemisphere, sometimes you see more of northern hemisphere. This is because of the tidal force between the Earth and the Moon. So when it is going around, so it kind of like goes like this. So because of that, sometimes you don't have a smooth blending of the craters and some of the features. So there's a lot of trial and error to get it right. So another thing is when you blend the moon's phases to get that HDR image. Another thing is capturing the background stars and then blending it with it. So sometimes people use clouds as well to give that dramatic effect. Sometimes they over process it. So when you over process it, it may not look natural. It may look like very synthetic. So this image, the thing I like about this image is it looks very natural. The background sky is not very bright. It looks dark, and some stars are faintly visible. So our human eye dynamic range is pretty good. You can see the moon, like when you're seeing a crescent moon, you can see the sunlit portion. At the same time, you can see the earthlit portion, which is called earth shine. And at the same time, your eyes can pick up some faint stars behind. So this image mimics our human eyes dynamic range, and the craters and other features are visible as well. Some cameras cannot capture some of the faint details, some of the details on the craters. So in this image, I could see some of the crater details. So overall, it's a very good attempt. Wishing you best for even more better images in the future.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so now we move on to the next participant, that is Ms. Janani. Is she here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Janani, and I'm pursuing this data science degree in IIT. And I'm also a national level surfer. And I've been passionate about photography ever since my dad got himself a D90 Nikon camera. And I've always been on a mission to master everything that camera is capable of doing. So this was one of my favorite photos to capture because it took the longest time to understand how this works. And it was also a team effort from me and my dad. So we spent a lot of time researching about how this happens. And this image of the moon was captured using a Celestron CH mid Cassegrain telescope, which is very old and has been preserved. So it has an 8-inch aperture and I think somewhere around 2000 focal length, which gave me all the magnification I needed. And the challenge, so what I really wanted to get out of this whole idea of capturing in the moon was to go as deep as to getting the contrast between the craters, the shadows and the depths I wanted it. So yeah, this one, the main challenges I faced while capturing this photo was, one, I initially thought while capturing the moon, I wouldn't have enough light. But once I started looking at it through the telescope, basically the eyepiece of the telescope was my camera, and we used a T-ring adapter to attach it to this telescope. So that made it look very bright. So exposure was a very important place for me to play with. And secondly, this camera doesn't have manual adjustments to the earth rotation. It doesn't track the object. So we had to turn it and capture it. This was one among, I think, like multiple photos we had taken, because it all turned out shaky, and it was not great. But this is just very special to me. So yeah.
Thank you, Janani. This is a very good image of the moon, and it's a very good attempt. You're on the right track of
Thank you.
learning the equipment and exploiting it before moving on to the next equipment. So this is one thing which I always insist all the budding astrophotographers, because some people could afford better equipment and they just skip the primary learning curve and they just jump to the next equipment. So what you're doing is great. You're on the right track. So you could even get even more better details with your existing equipment. For
Okay.
your attempt, this is a very, very good image, but you can do even much more
Right.
with your present equipment. So I
Okay.
see what you mean in terms of the adjusting the telescope and capturing it again. It could be
Right.
because the telescope is not tracking since it's a very old model CA telescope. So it, is it not tracking is it the motors are not running or
No, it doesn't have that feature inbuilt, because stargazing and watching the moon through the telescope is something I do very passionately. And I think the whole idea of using every equipment and finding out its every capability is in me. So even with the telescope, I've tried everything up and down, and it just doesn't track. So everything related to this picture is manual. There's no post production also in this. Like there's only contrast and exposure adjustments.
got it?
So yeah.
Got it. So your intention is to capture the contrast between the craters, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I would suggest wait for the first quarter. So when
Okay.
the moon is in half, you get even more details.
Okay.
So the sunlight is 90-degree to you, so you get a lot of shadow, long shadow of the mountains and craters extending on the opposite side. So you can get a pretty good depth of field and also pretty good contrast of the features on the terminator line. So
Okay.
this is a crescent phase, probably 5 days after the new moon. So
Right.
some of the craters on this terminator line or mountains on this terminator line are not very evident.
Right.
So in different phases of the moon, you have different mountains, taller mountains, and different features, which looks different and which looks beautiful than the other phases. So observe the moon, capture photos similar to this every day after the new moon, and you get a sense of like which phase gives you the best details. Also, you can run a simulation software. You can simulate the same view to plan your imaging accordingly. And another thing which you can do to improvise this image is by taking more images, at least 30 to 40 images. But you have to take the images quick without any
Right.
shake on the camera. Otherwise, you get smeared features. So this requires a lot of trial and error. Some cameras has burst mode. So in a second, you can capture 2, 3 images without a shake. Also, if you're using high ISO uh, and if you're using high shutter speed, not slow shutter speed, but the high shutter speed, then when you're capturing more frames in less than a second, then the shake won't be very evident since you're capturing frames very quickly. So there
Okay.
are these techniques which you can do to take more images. The idea is to take more images. That's all.
Okay.
Since yours is
Right.
not a tracking mount, so you have to adjust it every now and then. When you're adjusting, there is another thing called field rotation.
Right.
Since yours is an alt azimuth mount, so it moves up,
Hmm.
down, left, right.
Right. Yeah.
So when you're trying to capture this, the time is running, Earth is rotating. So to counteract the Earth's rotation, you have to adjust your telescope up, down, left, right motion. So when you're doing that, the view of the moon is slightly being tilted. So you see it rotates. The field itself in the eyepiece or in the camera rotates very gradually. So if you're doing it in a short span like 5 to 10 minutes, it wouldn't be very evident. But if you're trying for a longer time, then it'll be very evident and they don't stack very well. So uh, from this point, I would suggest capture moon in different phases and you will get better details in different phases. And the second step would be taking more images and stacking it in a software. So that's it. Thanks. And it's a good image. There are a lot of details on the craters.
Okay, so moving on to our next participant, that is Mr. Rishabh. Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, good evening, sir. First of all, I want to say that after seeing so many great clicks, I don't think I'm eligible to even get a best mention. But yeah, like this photo was taken in a bottle one sky under bottle one sky. So last year in 2024 June, I went to Kargil, Ladakh, and this is where I clicked this image. And this is an army camp. And while I was walking under around 9 to 10 p.m., I was walking through the streets and I saw the sky and like there are so many stars. I have lived my whole life in the city and haven't seen so many stars, just an Orion constellation during the night. And the first time I saw so many stars, I was in awe because I have been always fond of astronomy, astrophysics, and so yeah, I tried clicking a picture, but bad luck was there. The moon was there, and I couldn't click a good picture about the stars. So I have seen the Van Gogh paintings with the the shattered moonlight. So that this is what I tried clicking, and yeah, this is the result. I don't have a really great phone. It's just a 12K phone. The professional mode I used, ISO was 100 and shutter speed was around. It wasn't. I don't remember actually properly, but yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Rishabh. First of all, this is a fantastic image, and whatever the things that you mentioned that you didn't like about it, are the things which I like the most. Coming starting from the moon. So the highlight of this image is first the moon, and second the mountains, and third, it literally looks like a painting.
Yeah,
So in some images, when you capture long exposure of the moon, you don't see spikes, but in some photos, I mean, but based on the camera, based on the mobile phone, you have some spikes. So here, the spikes making the brightness of the moon even more beautiful. Otherwise, without spikes, it would just look normal and blunt. So spikes added some beauty to the moon. At the same time, the background color of the sky, slightly blue and greenish tint, and then the foreground building and the entire color of the image, making it look like sort of a painting. Although you captured it from a dark location, but it doesn't matter since you captured it with the moon. So even from a city sky, it would probably look the same because of the bright moonlight. So I really want to. I mean, it would have if the framing is vertical, like a portrait,
yeah.
but if you had captured it on a landscape mode horizontally, you could have covered more of the uh, terrestrial objects
I was actually trying
more of
that, the landscape mode, but
right,
I didn't had the tripod. I was actually standing there, but whenever I was trying, the blur was there, or my hand wouldn't. My hand is shaky, so that photo wasn't
right.
coming out right.
Right. So you're just starting in this.
Yeah,
I mean, you can try several different variations, different framing, different types of astrophotography, not just nightscape. So you can try a lot of other things. I hope you get much more better images than this in the future. Thank you for
thank
your
you so much, sir.
submission. Best wishes.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so the next participant is Ms. Rakshita. Are you there?
Yes. Hello, sir. So I am Rakshita Srinivasan from, I am currently in the foundation level of the BS course as well as pursuing my BTech first year in electronics and communications from MIT WPU Pune. So one of the main reasons I joined the college was because the college has a dedicated observatory built in the campus, and they also have a lot of astrophotography instruments. So um, I, for one, have been very passionate about the night sky and astrophotography ever since I could understand and take photographs. So when I found out that there was something like this to fuel my passion more in my very own college, I was obviously very thrilled. So this photograph was taken on the night of 24th and 25th of January from the observatory. So to gain access to the observatory, you have to be a member of the astronomy club. So but everything that was done for this particular frame was my own very own efforts. So this photograph was captured by the GSO Newtonian telescope 8-inch along with the EQR6 Skywatcher Pro mount. It also has a ZWI Astro 1600 dedicated astro camera. So for this particular image, there are around 40 frames of each filter. That's hydrogen alpha, oxygen 3, and sulfur. So around 120 frames, both light, dark, and flat were I stacked them in Deep Sky Stacker and then post process them in PixInsight later. So one challenge that I faced while taking the raw images for this particular Orion Nebula was that there was a leak in the optical assembly of the telescope. So the on the night of 25th, we couldn't really get the dark frames to be proper because the dark frames also had some optical leak in that. So then I had to go again to the observatory and take the photos on the night of 26th of January. So that's how this was processed. And since Orion was one of the nebulas that had captured my interest into astronomy, I decided to submit this a particular image. I would love your comments on how I can process it better, or what we can do or I can do to make sure that the setup or what new equipments that we can take since we have an observatory in college.
Great. Thank you, Rakshita Shri. This is a fantastic image of Orion Nebula. So this is like the next level from the basics. So with beginner astrophotography, like I said, people start with mobile phone, move on to DSLR camera and lens, and then the tracker, and then the equatorial mount. Since you have liberty of using your club's equipment, so we have just straight away jumped all these things. But um, I would recommend you to uh, use some of the techniques to enhance it better with your existing equipment. So I believe you used a DSLR camera, right? Can
No,
you?
sir. I have used a 1600 ASI ZWO
Yeah.
Pro camera. That's a dedicated astrophotography camera. And sir, before capturing this particular image, I have actually captured multiple images of the sky from my phone as well. But I didn't submit
Okay.
them because I thought this one would be the best one to go ahead with.
All right. Yeah. So you can do much more better since you're using a dedicated astro camera, which you can where you can cool down the temperature to get rid of all the noise, the thermal noise from the camera. So here the processing is okay, but the background has been clipped. So background is more darker, so some of the details are clipped. That could have been avoided. For example, at the bottom of the image, you can see slight bluish cloud, which is barely visible. So if you look at the raw image of it, you would still see some of the details around. Another thing is there are some aberrations on the corners of the image. That is because of the Newtonian telescope. So you see on the right the stars are not round. On the left, this is inherent uh, to the design of the Newtonian mirrors. So one thing is you can add coma correctors to fix these coma, but that's an extra accessory if your club is willing to purchase that, then that would enhance your image. And second thing is you have to take multiple images, since this is a dedicated camera, and you can control the temperature. So you can take calibration frames as you wish. So in that case, you can take even more longer duration of integration for several hours, since the telescope is installed in one spot. So
Yes,
you
sir.
can do
This
several.
actually for this particular image, it has around 120 frames, each of 60 seconds exposure. So this was a multi-night, that's 2 night observation capturing of the Orion that we did. And but since the Orion Nebula sets really quickly over the place where the observatory is situated, we couldn't really go ahead for multiple hours of exposure. That's over 5, because by the time the camera reached over a certain limit and the night sky was a bit darker, the Orion Nebula had already gone away from the visible region. So
Understood. So, in this case, since you have spent quite a lot of time on capturing the target, but the target was not in the ideal location based on your explanation. So every object has a window. So the object has to be 45-degree above the horizon, and it has to stay above that horizon, both east and western side, so that uh, the object is at its best. So whenever the object dips below the 45-degree altitude, then the object comes through a lot of haze and dust on our atmosphere. So our atmosphere is thinner over the head, thicker near the horizon. So some people even prefer like 30 degrees. 45 degrees is the most extreme, but even you can keep a cap of about 30-35 degrees. Don't shoot it if the object is below 30 degrees, so you're not getting the best out of it. So capture always when it is high up in the sky. This applies also to planetary objects as well, like moon, planets. So capture the object when it is high up in the sky, so it appears clearest. Also, you can skip the nights where you have full moons. So full moons also reduce the visibility. So just choose the best time frame to capture, and then do the same effort of capturing multiple images, multiple exposures, and stacking it. You would produce uh, several times better image than this. So that is my advice in terms of making the equipment better. Like I said, add a coma corrector, and make the image strain in such a way that you don't have any light leak, because if you have light leak, calibration will become an issue. So make sure you have just you paint the inside of the tube in pure black without any reflection around. Or if you have light leak at the bottom of the primary mirror through the gaps, seal that. Just put a black cap at the back, and just open it when you want to cool down the mirror. If the mirror is hot, if it is kept in a hot room, not a air conditioned room, then you need to acclimatize the mirror. So in that case, keep it open to acclimatize, and then once the mirror is to the ambient temperature, then cover it with a black cap so that the light doesn't leak through it. Also check the focuser. So focuser is also another source of light leak. So check if there is any. You can just use a torchlight, connect the camera, and then just shine the light all around wherever the possibility of light leak, and you will see if there is a light, you will see a bright glow, and that's the source of light leak. You can fix that, and that would improve the image by giving you better calibration frames.
thank you so much, sir.
Best wishes.
Moving on to our last submission for today. That is by Mr. Shreyaskar. Are you there? Mr. Shreyaskar, are you there?
So I just talked with him. I think he'll be joining soon.
Okay, yeah, he's here. So,
Shreyaska. Shreyaska, hi.
Hello, am I audible?
yeah, you're
Yes, you
audible.
are. Yes, you're audible.
Please introduce yourself and give a briefing about your image.
Hi everybody, I'm Sheska Srivastav. I'm currently pursuing BS degree and I'm in foundation level. And I'm a photography enthusiast. And to be honest, the basic idea, the brief idea about this photo was so. To be honest, wanted to uh, click up. I am into too much the framing, so I was in the park and I wanted to have a good frame. So I love diagonal framing. So the negative space I wanted to be clear, and the other part should be covered with something good. So I just found a good tree which was actually helping me to make this uh, photo more appealing. Uh, and to be honest, there were no particular camera setting I did. It is actually just a raw picture which I clicked via my smartphone. I'm sorry, actually I'm out, so sorry for the other voice.
No problem. Thank you, Shreyas. It's a great image of the moon, and the beauty to this image are the leaves in the foreground. So if it is just the plain moon with just the sky, it would be like boring, because there are a lot of images just capturing the moon. So so you can add only two ways uh, of adding beauty to the moon. One is by capturing it with the foreground, another one is capturing it closer. Like you can zoom into the moon with a telescope or a zoom lens, and you can capture the details on the moon. So that would look dramatic, because we humans are like, when you see the moon with your naked eye, you're seeing it at one times magnified view, right? So whenever you see the moon in the sky, mostly people see it when it is high up in the sky, but when it is rising, you see it against the foreground. You see it against the tree, mountains, buildings on the foreground. So when you see moon rising or setting against these objects, it looks more beautiful and more dramatic. So when you capture at that point of time, so the image comes out very well. So a second thing is when you capture the close up of the moon, which we are not used with, because when you see when you capture moon very close with all the craters and mountains, like the previous photographs captured by the shortlisted participants here, so that looks beautiful because you're seeing something new. So in these two aspects, you have captured the first one, although you did not capture the moon when it is rising on the horizon, but you have captured moon through the tree and the leaves in the foreground. So that added beauty to it. Other than that, there is nothing much on the moon to comment. It's just you can only see the mare region, not craters and all, because the resolution is too less. But the leaves in the foreground are not smeared. It all looks sharp. So overall, it's a good attempt. Thank you, Shreyas.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, so this was the end of all the submissions. Thank you so much to all the participants, as well as thank you so much, sir, for your lovely and encouraging feedback. And congratulations once again to all the participants, top 10 participants who were selected. Very well done and a very good work done by you guys. Hoping to see you guys in more events like this. And so you had a presentation, I guess, right?
Yeah, how much time do we have before that?
We can continue till 9. So if you're okay with that, please go
Uh,
on.
I need to convert it to Indian Standard Time. Just like,
So it's
okay, so
8,
we
9
have
right now. We have
yeah,
almost
we have
like 50 minutes
50
here.
minutes of time. All right. Yeah, I can present my journey, and along with it, I'll be sharing some like the process of astrophotography tips and tricks.
Sure,
Although
sir.
it's not going to be a lecture in astrophotography. I'm just going to share my journey, and I'm going to share how I learned on my way up. So when you listen to this presentation, so you can get some information which could be helpful for your journey as well.
Sure, sir. We would
So
love to
just
know that.
okay. let me know if the PowerPoint is visible.
Yes, sir, it's visible now.
All right, so
Oh, wow.
welcome to my journey in astrophotography. So before I begin, so let me give you my short introduction. So my social media name is Prabhu S Kutti. That's a different story. So because Kutti is my pet name, because I was short, I was uh, I was a small kid among the other tenants there in my hometown. So they started calling me as Kutti. So my actual name is Prabhakaran. So I'm working as an education coordinator at Sharjah Investment and Development Authority in UAE, which is a part of the government of Sharjah. So uh, this was my very first astrophotograph captured back in 2015. Although I was doing observation, but I got into astrophotography uh, very late. So my background is uh, I'm from a city in the southern India called Trichy, not in the heart of the city, but about 25 kilometers away from the heart of the city. So the light pollution was less comparatively. It was bottle 4. In a way, you can see Milky Way quite clearly from the terrace. You can make out a lot of details on the Milky Way. So it was that much darker, although there were street lights all around. So since my childhood, I was looking up the night sky because in India, sometimes we go out, especially on the terrace, and you look around, and sometimes you even sleep on the terrace whenever there is a power cut, whenever during the summer, whenever it is hot. So I had this practice of sleeping outdoors on the terrace in the summers, and sometimes like even in the winters as well when I started getting into astronomy. So I always noticed the night sky filled with stars. I recognized some of the patterns like Orion's belt, Pleiades star cluster, Delphinus constellation, Big Dipper, Cassiopeia, these things, but I did not know what these were. So every day I started memorizing all these patterns so that I could like recognize the next day quite easily. So then suddenly I stumbled upon Milky Way galaxy without knowing what it is. I thought maybe it's just some patch of clouds just always staying in that view. Then I was asking my mom and my sisters, like, do you see a cloud there? They said, yeah, they're also seeing the same. But how come it's appearing every day? Then after reading about Milky Way galaxy and how it appears, then that's when it hit me hard, like that I've been looking at the Milky Way galaxy that we are living in. So ever since then, I've been observing the night sky with the naked eye without any equipment. So that was the very beginning stage. Then after reading about astronomy and just general basics, then I I was trying very hard to look through a telescope. So in my area, there were no telescopes, there were no observatories as such. So the only opportunity was waiting for the science forum guys to bring a telescope during some celestial events like eclipses or during some comet apparition like eyes on comets and other comets which comes once in a while, so that you have a public outreach event so that you get an opportunity to stay in the queue and get your turn. So I got one such opportunity, but after like waiting in the queue for a long time, that the clouds covered everything, so I couldn't get a chance to look through it. So uh, then I then I decided to save money and buy a telescope and then look through it. So the first, I saved money for a year and then I bought my first telescope. This was my first telescope, Celestron Astromaster 130 mm EQ mount. And the very first object I saw was this moon. This was captured with my mobile phone, like just placing the phone camera on the eyepiece. And then the second object that I saw was Saturn. And the moment I saw Saturn, I don't know, for some reason I started crying because it was unreal. Uh, so the moment you see faint rings around an object in the blackness of space, it gives you goosebumps, and also it's a lot of emotion. A lot of emotions comes in place when you're seeing these things for the first time. And then I quickly watched Jupiter. These were the first three objects I watched right away after unboxing. Then every night I started using the telescope for observation. I started watching deep sky objects, Andromeda Galaxy, Orion Nebula, star clusters, a lot of things. It was very fun. It was very exciting. I still cannot forget those exciting nights which I spent. Then eventually, uh, I bought another used telescope because once you're into this, like sometimes you go crazy, like you want to like see everything. Sometimes you get this aperture fever of getting bigger telescopes to see more details. So I came across this used telescope on OLX. I think I got a good deal of it. Just bought this because I wanted to do astrophotography by just using the telescope. Although the electronics were not working, somehow uh, I just dismantled it, and then I removed the optical tube assembly, and then I made a dovetail and the adapter, everything on my own, even the camera adapter, and then I connected it with my telescope mount and added a tracking motor to it, and I captured my very first deep sky object. So this is Orion Nebula during my first attempt. So here I missed after using my mobile photography. I mean, after using my mobile for astrophotography, then I eventually moved on to buy a DSLR and then capture deep sky objects with this setup. Then I realized that you won't get better details with this primitive refractor. This is an achromatic refractor. There's a lot of chromatic aberration. You can see this purple and blue halo around the stars. So then I uh, got a tracking device, and I used my DSLR camera and a telephoto lens, 55 to 250 and I mounted it on the tracker to capture longer exposure. And this is same Orion Nebula after buying the tracker. And then I started in getting into nightscapes, basically wide angle astrophotography, capturing the night sky with some foreground, capturing star trails, capturing meteor shower, and all the other things with the kit lens. And also, I started capturing deep sky objects with my tracker, like you can see the Milky Way and Trifid and Lagoon Nebula, all with that kit lens and that. So then I joined Space India. I started working as an astronomy educator where I was teaching astronomy in Chennai. So I got to use the office telescopes. They had a lot of 8-inch telescopes. So I was doing planetary imaging, like capturing planets and moon, and all at the same time I was using it to observe the deep sky objects. So in that aperture fever, I had this 5-inch telescope, right? So I didn't have to buy a telescope, although I wanted to, because I had opportunity of using my office telescopes. So I skipped that upgrade. So after using 8-inch for some years, then I eventually got that fever again. Like I wanted to see more details. So then I eventually ended up getting the biggest telescope. Uh, I think at that time, amateur telescope at the time in Tamil Nadu, probably in India as well. So, so this was a 16-inch telescope. It weighs around 80 to 90 kgs. So you have to assemble it in parts. I bought this when I was in Chennai, and then my house in Chennai was about. I mean, I lived in the first floor, so the terrace was on the fourth floor. So I had to take all those 80 kilograms in pieces whenever I want to do observation or do planetary imaging, which was quite tiring. So I use the telescope to do planetary imaging. The photos you can see of Saturn and Jupiter captured from there, and also I did some amount of outreach as well. So being part of observation, so I sometimes I like to show what I see through the telescope to the general public. So sometimes I take the telescope to orphanage and old age homes and general public to show these objects. Then I moved to UAE after 3 years. I got an opportunity here. in the same field and also in other things. So basically, what I do is I teach astronomy. We have astronomy activities and workshops, and also archaeology, anthropology, paleontology, geology. So uh, when I moved to UAE, I had a lot of opportunity because in the office they had much more bigger telescopes, computerized telescopes. At the same time, the I got access to a lot of dark locations, and also the number of clear nights are much higher. So in India, if you're trying to image or observation out of 365 days, only 60 days are clear. Remaining like 305 days are like always cloudy or rainy. So it's very tiring to like see the weather forecast and plan your session. So most of the times you have to cancel it. Most of the time you have to cover the telescope with the tarp. So I've done that several times whenever I take the telescope to the dark locations from Chennai. So here in UAE, the number of clear nights are very high. Out of 365 days, 300 days are clear. Only about two months maximum are clouded, and it rains just a week or so here. So rain is not a problem. It's just the wind and the dust, and sometimes cloud is a problem here. But this is like Milky Way from a very dark location when I came to UAE. This was captured, I think, 8 years ago. And then I started doing the same thing which I was doing in India, doing uh, the time lapse, star trails, nightscapes. And also, I got into high resolution planetary imaging as well, since I got access to computerized telescope, a much more bigger telescope. So I started doing high resolution planetary imaging. So at that time, my 16-inch was still in India, so I couldn't use my 16-inch. So I was using my office telescopes. And also, I was doing high resolution lunar imaging, capturing fine details on the moon using different equipment like accessories, like cameras, and a lot of other accessories to enhance the details to get the best out of it. I was also capturing meteor showers. Basically, my idea was to do everything in astrophotography, not leave anything, just do everything in astrophotography. So I was doing all the things in and out. And whenever I get vacation, like yearly once, I go to India, so I can use my 16-inch, which is in Trichy. So whenever I go there, I set up the 16-inch to do planetary imaging, and I got a tracking platform made for this device to track the motion of the sky, so that I could do longer imaging, like capturing videos of these objects for a longer time to capture better details. And then I reached a point where I realized that I needed a proper telescope for deep sky imaging, not just a camera and lens. So then I bought an apochromatic refractor telescope where you don't get any aberrations like chromatic aberrations, this purple, blue hues around the stars. You don't get with this telescope. So one downside is these kind of telescopes are very expensive. But here there are a lot of astrophotographers here, so you can get a lot of things in the second-hand market. So the price is 50% cheaper, and also here the tax everything is less comparing to India. So I was able to acquire more equipment for cheaper price comparing to India. So I got access to this apochromatic telescope, and I got much better results than I was getting with a DSLR camera. And also, I was capturing all celestial events as well. This is a partial lunar eclipse, and Mercury transit happened in 2019. So this is Mercury in front of the sun. And then I realized that just using the tracking motor, you're limited to exposure and weight and other things. So then I bought an equatorial mount, which has more weight load. So you can put a lot of things on the mount. So there is more leverage to add more equipment on the top. So I was able to connect it to with the computer to get more acquisition liberty, like taking automating a lot of things. Otherwise you have to do a lot of things manually. For example, if you want to focus the telescope, you have to stop imaging and then focus manually and then take. But if you add accessories like electronically automated focuser and you connect it to the laptop, and then the software in it will do everything for you from starting the image capturing till uh, ending the image capturing. Everything is done in between, automated. So I got into automation, and eventually I moved my 16-inch to UAE because I'm a person who also does observation as well. So I like observing the objects than photography. The main reason I started astrophotography was to showcase these beautiful images on the social media so that others can also get into it. So that was the initial point, but then I started liking it more than I wanted to do for the public. So then I started doing it myself. So I didn't leave observation astronomy because I also like to observe while I'm imaging. So I have an eye patch like the pirates. If you look at the pirates, you will see eye patches. One of their eyes is covered. That's to protect the uh, night vision. So I always have an eye patch. I use one of my eyes for the observation, and I use the other eye for astrophotography. Whenever I want to look at the laptop, then I just cover my eye with the eye patch. So then I was doing both. Uh, whenever whenever after work, I sometimes drive directly to the mountains there to do imaging. Most of the times, whenever I'm off, I just stay there for 2 nights and do astrophotography throughout, and then get back home. This all was happening when I was still single, not married. So I had like no one to tell me to go to sleep. So I was just doing my own stuff. And then I was also into more high resolution imaging of planets and other objects when I moved my 16-inch. So my 16-inch is still now the biggest telescope here, so I cannot use anything else if I want to get the best image. So this is International Space Station on the left. You can see the solar panels and other things, and this is the southern region on the moon. You can see the details of the craters. So that's the resolution that you can get with such a big telescope. So I also managed to take several panels of the moon, making a mosaic of it. So these are just smaller segments of the moon captured with a planetary camera. But when you stitch all of it, it produces a very high resolution image of the moon. So you can zoom into the moon, still you can keep up the resolution. You can see faint details between the craters. So this one I made with my 16-inch, and this image, this video went viral on YouTube, and also this was featured on a lot of magazines like BBC. A similar image like this also got featured on ISRO as well. So there was few images got featured. Among those images, mine was one of the images featured on ISRO of the moon. And then from DSLR camera, I moved to a proper astrophotography camera, which is a cool camera. You can reduce the temperature of the sensor so that you can get rid of the noise, and you can do a lot of you can get a lot of details. So this is a monochrome camera. It's a black and white camera. So black and white cameras are better than a color camera. So you can put different filters. You can capture different wavelengths of the objects, and you can get different details based on the wavelength. So this one is a black and white camera with three different filters, which captures in three different specific bandwidth. So these are all narrow band images, like the Hubble Space Telescope, James Webb Space Telescope. So captured in a similar way using different filters. And you put the filter and you put all these different data into it, into the processing software, and you can create the color you want. These are not real colors. These are the colors that you can choose to enhance the views. So most of the astrophotographers stick with one such color pattern, which is called Hubble palette, same as Hubble Space Telescope. So which is like orange, red glow, and blue, green glow at the center of the details. So this palette is called Hubble. Whatever narrowband images you see, you will see similar palette. People use different color palette as well, but this is the one I prefer. This is the one most of the astrophotographers prefer. So this is Trifid and Lagoon. This is Eagle Nebula. and this is Orion Nebula. So this is not like narrow band. This is normal broadband. So this is red, blue, green color. This is how your naked eye would see if you look. I mean, you cannot see the colors through a telescope unless you have a very big telescope. So I've seen some colors of Orion Nebula through my big telescope from a dark place, but uh, this is how the actual colors look like. And I added a layer of hydrogen alpha to it so that you can get more nebulosity. So these are all captured with that black and white camera with specific filters. And this is normal color, the visual color of Pleiades star cluster. And then this is Eta Carina. This appears very low from here. So here it doesn't go higher than 5 degrees altitude. So it's very, very challenging here. From India, from my place, it is very easy. It comes very high up. But these are the things which I captured with my apochromatic. Then I got into solar imaging, not just the solar imaging of photosphere, but the chromosphere. So sun has different layers. So you have to use different filters to capture different layers of it. So white light filter is the easiest and the cheapest. You can get the photosphere of the sun. You can get the black spots, the sunspots easily. But to get the chromosphere of the sun, all the prominences and all the other features, you need to have a very expensive filter. So I bought this filter and connected it with my telescope to capture the sun and its features, including sunspots, prominence. And then I wanted to capture wide view of deep sky objects. So some of the deep sky objects are bigger, some are smaller. So in terms of size, I mean, so you have to have different size of telescopes to capture different objects. So with my 80 apochromatic telescope, the focal length is 400 So I was able to get as many as objects I wanted in my mind. So then I wanted to capture even wider objects. So here you can see Orion Nebula, and you can see Horsehead and Flame Nebula. And also you can see other one here. There is another Messier object. I think it's Messier 78. So all in one. So this kind of framing you can only do with a very short focal length lens. So this one was captured with 135 prime lens. This is also with the same lens. You can see Christmas tree cluster here and then Rosetta Nebula. So all in one frame. And this is Monkey Head Nebula and Jellyfish Nebula all in one frame. And this is Seagull Nebula and this is Thor's helmet. So all in one frame. So these kind of images I was also capturing with my wide view setup. So I don't capture all in like I don't capture it simultaneously. So I pick up one focal length and I use that focal length for 2-3 months, and then I move to the next focal length. So it is easier in that way, so that you can sort out the data, you can process it as well. So then once I exploited the 135 focal length after capturing all the targets that I wanted, then I wanted to capture galaxies, which requires bigger telescope, higher focal length. So then I bought an 8-inch Ritchie Crichton telescope. This design of the telescope is similar to the space-based telescopes, including Hubble Space Telescope. So this size is fairly economical comparing to the other sizes. So it was easier to purchase at the time, and then I just use my same equipment, the mount and other cameras, everything, and I was able to capture the galaxies like this. So that is M101, and here you can see Crab Nebula. So then every now and then, I mean, during that time I got married, so because of the different lifestyle, I couldn't go every night or every weekend to do astrophotography. I was trying my best to go every weekend, but then at some point you will have some fight between your I mean, it's very common, be it any hobby. So if you're taking too much of your personal time, so if you don't share family time, then it'll end up in a lot of fight and debate. So then I decided to just to go to dark locations only once in a month, and I capture the whatever I could during those times. So I travel to very, very dark locations, which are about 5 hours drive from my home, and I stay there 2 nights and I capture whatever I could. So the sky is very, very dark. You can even see um, a lot of things like ecliptic, and you can see the glow of the objects in the solar system all appearing very clearly. And that's how Milky Way appears from there. Uh, India has even more darker places than this. And and from so these are the objects. Just these were captured over a span of just 2 days. Although it was just a span of 2 days, but I was able to capture a lot of things with a lot of details. These are all galaxy clusters, Leo triplet, Trifid Nebula. This is Rho of Yokai. This is Pillars of Creation. So all captured just 2 nights. So whenever I got time, I used to just go out, and then also sometimes I capture from my just go to location which is not very far away from home. So this is Andromeda Galaxy close up, and then this is Crescent Nebula, and this is Bubble Nebula. This is Triangulum Galaxy M33 with all the star forming clouds in it. And then I wanted to automate everything. So instead of using a laptop and sitting all night, I connected it with a mini computer. And then I remotely started operating it by sitting in the car, because in summer it's very brutal, it's very, very humid. So you got to sit inside. Also, there are a lot of insects like scorpions and snakes come around, so it's not very safe to sit all night. I've stepped on several things. Luckily, I'm still alive. So one advice I would give is whenever you're going to a dark location, make sure you carry a torch and make sure your surrounding is safe, not filled with insects and other things. So that is one primary thing you have to do before starting astrophotography. So know your terrain, make sure it is safe. So then after some point of time, I realized that it's not working out, because it will be too much of pressure and the family time and also your personal time. So then I decided, like, one of my friends started an observatory, remote observatory, who was also a member in our astrophotography group. So then we decided to install our telescopes there permanently and then operate it remotely. Since I started this remote imaging, it was with my mini PCs, was easy for me to uh, just move on to remote place, so that the process will be the same and the integration will be the same. So this roof over here, that's my observatory. So I installed the same equipment which I had, equatorial mount, and my 80 refractor telescope. That's the sky there, bottle around bottle 3. And I added all the things to make it more automatic. So also added an all sky camera to look at the sky. So this will be my eye on the sky, like how the sky is, whether it's cloudy or hazy. And also I added a weather vane. So this is like a weather station which gives you how much is the wind, which direction is the wind, so that you can plan your imaging accordingly. So this is the time lapse of the sky. That's how the sky appears. So it's fairly darker, although it's not as dark as the other locations in India, but it's fairly darker to get decent astrophotography. It's much darker than my go-to location near my home. So I was very happy to move my setup there and do astrophotography whenever I wish. So here I get to image whole night, every night. Only exceptions are the full moon days. So I have a window of whenever the moon approaches like 70 percentage illumination, I stop imaging and I capture the remaining days. So we still have some cloudy skies and hazy and windy skies. So um, we don't image every night, so only when the sky when the conditions are very, very right. So this is Crescent Nebula and the background nebulosity, all captured from my remote observatory, because here I can capture for several nights. So these are multi-night integrations captured over 40-50 hours. This Leo triplet with the tidal tail, you can see the material from this galaxy being stripped off because of the tidal force among the other galaxies. These requires darker location and more longer integration. This is M78, the Orion constellation. This is Dolphin Nebula. And this image was featured in NASA as astronomy picture of the day. So this was my only image which got featured on NASA. And at the same time, I was doing solar imaging from my balcony, uh, capturing the prominences and time lapse of the solar eruption by capturing longer period of time. So I was able to make time lapses. So at the same time, whenever I go to observatory to do maintenance and to clean the stuff, clean telescope and other things, I also take my 16-inch to do observation and planetary imaging. So over the time, I my planetary imaging got better. I was able to get better details. And then I reached a point where I needed a better mount to get better tracking accuracy to do a lot more automation. So I ended up selling that EQ mount and I bought a centralized equatorial mount. This is called SEM70. The payload is around 31 kilograms. So I could mount even bigger telescope. So then I sold my apochromatic telescope as well because I had captured whatever I wanted in my mind with the wide angle. So I did not require that anymore. So I sold that and I bought. I ordered an 12-inch Ritchie Crichton telescope, but it took some time to deliver. So in the meantime, I was using my solar telescope in the observatory for two months to capture some of the deep sky objects. So these are the objects which I captured with it, Stackpoles, and then this is a Rosetta Nebula. And then eventually I got my 12-inch Ritchie Crichton. It was bigger than I thought, heavier than I thought. The mount which I have cannot take this much load, but still I ended up overloading it. I was like willing to take the risk. So I mounted everything and then I started using it. The only mistake I did was not having a cap, automatic cap for this. If you look at my previous telescopes, it all has automatic caps. So it closes, doesn't let the dust go in. So this one is such a huge telescope. So keeping a big cap is very expensive and it was not available at that time. Plus the design is different. So you don't have any place, any solid surface to strap on the panels. So it was very difficult to integrate. So I was capturing without the cap for 1 year. I captured so many galaxies, so many objects. So far, I've captured around 90 different celestial objects with my remote observatory, but I've processed only about 20 of it. I have 60 different targets, each having over 40, 50 hours of duration still in my hard disk. I'm not finding time to process these. Sometimes I process the data which I want to process. So the roof opens automatically, telescope captures, and the roof closes. So everything is automated, all set. Even turning on the computer can be automated, but still, being a big telescope, I'm doing some of the things manually, like checking if the roof is fully closed before the telescope goes up. Otherwise, if it hits, it'll damage the equipment. And then with this 12-inch, I captured some of the amazing images of galaxies. This is M51, and then this is M63 Sunflower Galaxy, and this is Hercules cluster. And this image, with this image, I won the um, Indian Astrophotographer of the Year 2024 competition. And for this, I got an 8-inch telescope as a prize as well, which is in India. And this is Hamburger Galaxy, and this is Hercules Galaxy Cluster. All these faint dots you're seeing are all galaxies. You can see different spiral galaxies and some elliptical galaxies. And then I got a harmonic drive mount, which is lightweight, because the general German equatorial mount, which has gears, are very heavy. You need to have counterweights, so it's not very portable. It's heavy. But harmonic drive started getting popularized recently, like the past 4 5 years. There have been a lot of harmonic drive mounts almost from all the manufacturers. So this is very lightweight. You can lift it in one hand. It's very portable. So I wanted something for the balcony to capture sun at the same time, to use it for observation as well, like for the public observation. So I have this harmonic drive mount as my go-to portable mount for the solar imaging and observation. And then I had the worst thing which I worried of, so which is the dust. So the primary mirror collected a lot of dust. It has got so much dust that some of the objects were very faint. So I decided to dismantle everything. I stripped it down to the small bolts on the telescope. I removed the primary mirror. I had to clean it. I took it home because it takes a lot of time to cleaning and put everything back and collimate everything. So for the time being, I installed my new wide angle telescope, which is 300 focal ratio, I mean, focal length. So although I had captured a lot of wider targets with my other Sol telescope, but still I realized later that I needed to capture some more details, so some more targets. So I ended up getting one wide angle apochromatic telescope. So this is a backup telescope for the 12-inch. Whenever I want to clean the telescope, so I put this thing, and I removed the tripod and I installed a pier. So this pier is quite higher than the tripod, so the telescope sticks outside the roof. So here the safety is very important because even with the normal tripod, even if the telescope is not in any orientation, so if you close the roof, it doesn't hit. But here the telescope has to be on the sideways, otherwise the roof will come hit and it'll break everything. So uh, this was very challenging with the new pier. But the pier is very important because the pier is strong and it's connected to the solid ground, so there is no change in alignment. So it's much better for tracking accuracy. So I installed the pier, and then with this new wide angle telescope, I was able to capture some amazing images. I still have so much of data left. I hardly have time to capture, I mean, process. So I capture only two of the images from this 2 months of time. This is Seagull Nebula, and this is Cigar and Bodas galaxy, along with the integrated Flux Nebula in the background. And then I eventually got the flats panel to close the telescope. So it automatically opens and closes. But since the the room is small, so I have to do a lot of sequence to make the telescope in a vertical position and then open the roof. Otherwise, it hits the walls. So it is very challenging now with the big telescope. Either I have to get a much more bigger room or a dome like a proper observatory to make it more efficient. So that's my entire journey of astrophotography. So down the line, I got a lot of features on ISRO, NASA, and BBC, and several other magazines, which I'm not showing here because the images which I had shared. So some of the images had featured on those, so it wouldn't be nice to show the images again. So my next plan is to finish all the remaining targets in the galaxy list, and then I'm going to move on to do some science. I'm going to install spectroscopy, and then I'll be capturing some spectrum of stars and doing some science. So that's my, and also some projects on asteroids and comets and other things. So that will be in another year or two. So till then, I'll be capturing only, I mean, I'll be only doing astrophotography for now. So about meeting Sunita Williams, I had an opportunity to meet Sunita Williams. I think it was in 2023. So she was attending here uh, Sharjah Book Festival. So since I work for the government of Sharjah, uh, so she came to our office. I mean, to our destination to experience. So I was hosting her. So we had good time. So I think I was with her for about 2 3 hours with her and her mom, and it was lovely. And we talked a lot about her experience in International Space Station, and also I mean, she was a guest in my previous company as well in India, but I didn't get an opportunity to meet her, but my colleagues in Delhi had. So I was also sharing those experiences, that how I couldn't meet, I wanted to meet her badly, but I couldn't meet because of the distance. So we had very good time. And also at the time I had a notification of ISS visibility on my app. Then I told her like ISS is coming up. Would you like to see? Then uh, so the very next second, she became a child, like going after ISS, trying to spot it through through the leaves of the trees. Then I was trying to show same ISS through the telescope, but it was very low on the horizon. So it was very lovely to see how much affection she has for ISS. And now I'm hoping for a meet again after this once she gets back all right. So I think she might come back to UAE. If so, then I might have another opportunity to meet her to discuss more about her this almost one year long trip in International Space Station. And also, uh, I had an opportunity to shoot a video clip for my son, who was going to turn 1 year by the December 8th. So I named my son after Jupiter. So his name is Jovian in Latin. So I explained everything that it would be great to have a wish so that I could show that to him when he grows up. So it'll be amazing to know that such a legend has wished him. So I got a video clip, and then I also got another video clip of her explaining that the Earth is not flat; it's sphere. Because I get to meet a lot of people who believe in flat Earth. So it was an opportunity to shoot a video of from the person who had been to space a lot of times so that it'll give a pretty good credibility for all the people who believe in flat earth. So it was very lovely for her to share all those things. So that was my experience with Sunita Williams.
Great, sir. Great. Oh my God. What an enlightening evening this was. Amazing, sir. Uh, I have no words actually now. I want to see more of these clicks here. Right? Guys.
Sure, you
Yeah,
It
can.
was too amazing, too amazing.
So I post
like
most of my work on my Facebook page and Instagram. So you can follow my work there. You can see my updates. I had a website earlier, but I couldn't keep up with the updates, so I ended up like not renewing it. So all my high resolution images are featured on Astrobin, where you can see all these images in high resolution. I can share the link later on. But hope you enjoyed.
yeah, we absolutely loved it. So even I followed you on the your Insta page the moment I got to know that you are over the church. So and the best one was the Whirlpool Galaxy that you have captured. That's just too good, too good. Like even before means watching your these picture that you showed just now, that was my favorite on your page, the Whirlpool Galaxy. I have zoomed in and out multiple times to see what actually is there in that. Just too good, sir. Amazing. No words to say
Thank
anything
you.
like that.
Thank you, Sushil.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session. It really gives us a very good insight into astrophotography, what we can do to go forward in this field as well. And, sir, I just wanted to ask, where exactly in Trichy are you from? Because even I am from Trichy.
So Um, I mean, my place, I have two places. One is my in-law, which is in Srirangam proper, like in the middle of the Srirangam. I mostly stay there. And my dad's house is in Pittavaitalai, which is about 30 kilometers from Trichy.
Okay,
So,
sir. Actually, my dad is also from Srirangam. So to know
okay,
that you've started your astrophotography journey from my hometown is really inspiring. And the next time I visit Srirangam, I'll definitely try to capture images from there as well.
sure, sure. Thanks.
Okay, so anyone wants to ask any doubts to sir? Otherwise, then we'll conclude the session.
Sir,
Okay.
sir, I actually got inspired very much by watching your photos. Actually, I started liking astrophotography since very young age. I used to stargaze, I used to follow an Instagrammer called Rami Astro, and
Yeah,
after
he's a friend of mine.
watching, yes, sir, he used to take so good photos, and he's the one who inspired me to take astrophotography first of all. I actually
Great,
joined this community after the contest ended. I could have joined, but
great.
being able to meet you and me being in the session is more than grateful, sir.
Sure, sure. I will tell him that there is one guy who's inspired by you when I meet
Thank
him.
you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Thank you so much, sir, being present over here. And we are so grateful to have you here, for sharing your inspiring journey, showing us those mind-blowing epic astrophotography clicks. I mean, I don't want to go from here now. I want to see more and more and more. But due to the time constraints, we should conclude the session. I'm sure everyone here was absolutely stunned by your work. I think, yeah, everyone is motivated enough to become the future astrophotographers, right? Cool. Great. So, thank you once again, sir. We genuinely enjoyed every second of this session, and I'm sure it left all of us motivated to explore astrophotography even deeper now. And of course, a huge thank you to our amazing participants. It takes a lot of courage to put your work, present your work, um, define your ideation, and present your work amongst the world, right? So, yeah, keep learning, keep clicking, keep capturing, and keep learning. All the best for the future photographers. This is Anshi Jain signing off. Here's to more creativity, more stars, more futures ahead, right? And we'll see you all live at Paradox, right? At our beautiful, the most flagship event, which is Shutter Safari 2.0. The registrations are open now. Link will be shared in the description. You can scan the QR code. Yeah, so that's all from my side.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
everyone.
Iris Society and AVASYA Society for making me a part of this Lumen Astrum astrophotography contest. And congratulations to all the participants, both shortlisted and not non-shortlisted participants. So just keep working, keep trying, keep doing astrophotography. You will get eventually better. And then advance wishes for the winners, which will be announced in the next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So cool. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. See ya. Have a good night. Bye bye.
Goodbye. Bye bye.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for joining.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
so at the end, I'll say to the members who have joined in this meet. So with this, we officially end this meet, this session. Last few notes. So we have shared the feedback form. Please do fill that, right? Every member. We would love to know if we can improve ourselves, if we can add some new things, if we can you have some speaker in your mind, and if you have some topic that we can do a session on this, we can have a workshop sessions, etc., anything, right? So feel free to share your ideas, anything in this form. At the same time, as you can see, one of our event is being selected for the paradox, right? So we would love to see like your participation in
So
that
guys,
event.
register now. Register now.
Register ASAP, okay? And we have also shared the LinkedIn tree, okay? Sorry, link tree of Iris Society, okay? So do click on that link, and you will get all the links. You may you will get the LinkedIn, Insta, WhatsApp, membership form, okay? So do fill all of them, right? And at the end, again, thanks for joining till end. Some of you were in starting as well, like they joined 20 minutes before as well. So it was really great having you all, right? Your love and support. Thanks a lot. Yeah, Anshi.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you once again for joining. Keep capturing, keep creating, keep conquering, and yeah, all the best for the future. Bye bye.
So I just
We can
stopped
end
the
the
recording.
meet. Yeah,
Yep, yep,
live.
yep. So